Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Getting with the Program, talking about episode 6 of My Hero Academia Season 2, The Boy Born with Everything. I am, of course, your ever-friendly Pokeprof, joined once again by Kitty Kross
Yoo-hoo!
and Ashen Sky.
Everything you say can and will be used against you.
So, with only 16 students remaining for the actual fight, we're going to be going into one-on-one brawl battles. This is, as we have said before, a tournament arc. But this episode was very much a breather episode, which is something you need. It's like one thing that I will say that you need in like any kind of like action movie or show or what have you is you need moments of calm and relaxation to basically cool down the audience, because if you constantly go at that forever high state, things get boring. I mean, look at anything done by Rob Liefeld, for example. But so this episode was more about character development, more about our characters getting to really relax and prepare, and us get to learn more about the characters in particular, getting to learn more about Todoroki. We got confirmation that he is the son of Endeavor. That Endeavor, of course, was the number 2 hero. And we learned just what kind of effed up backstory he has. It's like, it makes a lot of sense now for why, as I even commented this to Sky and Kitty earlier while we were watching the episode, why he was put up into death battle against Zuko. Because until
Honor!
honor until this episode, I didn't know if that was what he was on his eye was like a birthmark or what. But we can now confirm his mom threw scalding water at his face. Can I just say,
Not scalding, boiling.
oh,
Yeah. You gotta wonder though, like what exactly did Endeavor do? Did he force himself on this woman? How did it go about that she was so traumatized by the sight of Todoroki after that point that she threw boiling water on a child's face?
well, the basic story that was explained by Todoroki, just we also can make sure the audience is informed about this. Though you should honestly be watching these episodes beforehand so you can talk with us, or talk in the comments and whatnot afterwards. The basic concept was, when quirks first appeared in this world, there was a lot of people who basically wanted to breed their quirks together. Because
Call them quirk marriages.
yeah, we basically have evidence in the series, and they've shown the fact that quirks can pass down bloodlines. It's like Ida is a perfect example. All of his family has quirks where they have like engines somewhere in their body to power them up, make them faster, stronger, better, so on and so forth. Play the draft punk.
You mean Daft Punk?
I don't know. I'm bad with band names.
Draft Punk is like, are they the ones that draw everything for them?
I'm going to smack you. Anyway.
Smack.
Anyway, but so apparently Endeavor is popular enough and wealthy enough to where, even though this is kind of like a practice that has looked down upon and fell out of favor and people don't really do it anymore, he was still able to do it because Endeavor has always wanted to basically
Because money.
Yeah, pretty much.
Didn't they basically hint at the idea that the quirk marriages were basically outlawed?
Yes, they are illegal.
Yeah. But, it's Endeavor has gone and shown, you have money, it doesn't matter if you do illegal stuff, you can get away with it.
Mm-hmm. And the only reason that he did it in the first place because he wanted to create somebody to usurp All Might, because he hates All Might.
Mm-hmm. And simply because All Might's always been number 1 and Endeavor's been number 2, and he can never get to that number 1 spot. So Todoroki is legitimately, he was specifically made by, Endeavor having relationships with his mom simply for a chance of combining their quirks and raising him up to essentially fulfill the one dream that Endeavor could never do. And hilariously enough, that makes the second best hero in the world ripe for villainy. I love it. But as actually Deku points out in the actual episode, this makes Todoroki having a really dramatic backstory. He even calls him a comic book character, which, haha, they're manga characters, but still, it's really, really interesting. And really intriguing bit of it was the simple fact that Bakugo.
Todoroki?
No,
Oh,
Bakugo is there the entire time, hidden and listening to everything, to where he's which is very unlike his character so far.
Mm-hmm.
But he's just there and is absorbing everything he's hearing these two talk about. So he knows Todoroki is related to Endeavor, and he knows he's, has this really harsh backstory. He knows now that Deku has some relationship with All Might because Todoroki is brilliant and is able to.
Except he thought that Deku was like his secret love child or something.
Yes, and I love how the show is also throwing in these little moments of, humor. Yeah, to break up the stress, to break up the how serious things can get, or in this case, to make that serious moment punch all the harder. Because that's what it did. You made everyone laugh, and then you brought everyone down saying, "This is my backstory." And it's like, oh, shit. And that... Go ahead.
I was just going to say, when you were talking about the whole thing with Endeavor being, basically set up to the possibility of being ripe for a villainy. And I like the fact that the show addresses the idea that just because somebody is labeled as a hero doesn't make them a good person.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it also reminds me of there's that live action show called The Boys, where these normal people are kind of trying to expose quote unquote heroes for the assholes that they are. I mean, like there's a Superman avatar in this show named Homelander who's a total dick.
Mm-hmm.
And it's good to see a story like that where somebody with that amount of power and ability, just because people see them one way doesn't mean that they're a good person.
It's basically, in the case of The Boys, it's more like a modern interpretation of what's that series called? The series with Rorschach and
The Watchmen.
Thank you. Yeah, so it's basically a more modern take on The Watchmen, but where those things are also like very, very dark, very, very adult. This is what I want to see. This is like a show that is aimed at kids, aimed for everyone to be able to watch, but is serious enough to be taken like, okay, things got real here. It's like I said, My Hero Academia is very much like Avatar in that respect, where you have got these characters who are, very serious, very believable, who go through things, who, suffer all these, things as they are trying to go about their lives, and they feel real because of it. Then you also get these hilarious moments where our frickin' sticky ball guy goes and tricks all the girls into wearing cheerleader outfits.
Frickin' Mineta.
Mm-hmm.
He's such a perv.
Yep. And he had backup this time.
Shit.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's like what I like to call his power, is a little shit. Just go boom, boom. But overall, it's just really, really good. But here's the thing that also surprised me, but it fits within the series, is the fact that we have two of the... So we flat out know now that I was right about an earlier character's ability, to where we have this one character who when we were having the race, I call that like, okay, I think he has like a controlling power or mind control or something like that to respect, because of the way that he was being carried about during the race, and how the people under him seemed to be kind of like spacey-eyed, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then we have these other two characters, one of which is one of our classmates, one of our main character, one of Deku's main character friends, who is this guy with the big tail, right?
Yeah.
And this character literally comes up and says, even though he's gotten a place to fight in the finals, he says, I don't remember anything in the last, in the cavalry race. It's like my pride will not allow me to willingly do this. And that actually causes one of the other teammates who basically says the same thing. It's like, I'm powerful. I'm capable of doing this stuff, but I'm in the same boat. I don't remember anything. And I don't feel like I have the right to move on.
Honor!
Oh, but that's the thing. They're heroes. And that really goes and embraces the hero ideal to where, yeah, they're fighting, they're wanting to get ahead, they want to prove themselves. But because of that, if they get into a situation where they feel like they did not come by what they had and earned it, they felt like they wouldn't go on. Whereas a character like, go ahead.
I also like the fact that because the two of those characters bow out, they decide to bring characters from two players from one of the lower teams that didn't make it into the bracket instead. And that team, all four of them, like, no, we didn't really do much in that last fight, so choose somebody from this team instead. And I like the fact that you have characters that are basically, standing up for, their own morals, like, they have standards, and, they're, even though we have some people who are assholes, there are some legitimately honorable people.
Yeah, and that is so rare to see in any medium. You're so used to, especially in a tournament art like this for any other anime or hell TV or cartoon, you are so used to the characters stomping and trampling all over each other to get ahead. And usually it's only the main character who has got that honor, who's got that ability to say, no, I'm willing to stand up for what is right. And even if it hurts them, they're willing to bow out. And in this instance, we have a bunch of side characters, characters who don't have that focus, have that limelight, who have shown they are honorable characters. And it is so refreshing to see. It's like, I don't remember the last time I saw anything where a character acted like this. I really can't think of anything, and it just boggles the mind. I love it.
Mm-hmm.
What really, though, it has come down to now is that now we know several of what the fights are going to be. We have, our guy who can turn his, his body into really durable, like super steel and stuff like that. Going up a guy who,
Mr. Rock Skin against Mr. Metal Skin.
yeah,
And they're both like, how does this keep happening?
Yeah, because they pretty much have the same power.
Mm-hmm.
I'm waiting for the moment where it reveals that they're long lost brothers or some crazy crap like that.
Fun fact: the silver-haired guy's name is Tetsu.
Oh,
which
yeah.
is literally metal.
I remember that now. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, so the actual episode, though, ends with this guy who, I've called out, and I believe fairly certain that he has like a mind control ability of some kind, simply by the fact that other characters say they don't remember anything, so that would make sense. Apparently requires you to speak, and once you do that, he's able to use his quirk against you. Because we see that.
I'm curious how that works.
I'm very curious too, but we'll see. We'll see in the next episode. But because Deku tries to speak, he basically, the guy provokes Deku to where Deku is pissed off and is going after him, and then Deku is like all glassy eyed and gone. So it's really interesting to see where this goes forward, and I'm really curious to see all these other fights because we're getting to see characters with powers we really don't know about, or in the case of some of the other fights, it's just simply powers that we haven't really seen effectively in battle. Because we have a lot of characters who their powers are effective, but it's battling is like for example, Urahaka. It's like her power is not really a battle power. It's like she can do a lot of things, interesting things in battle, but in terms of actually it being offensive, it's not going to work. So go ahead.
I was just gonna say that, considering she's up against Bakugo, all she has to do is touch him and push him out of the ring.
I mean, yeah, because that is one of the ways to defeat your opponent is to have them get.
I mean, you say that, but you're forgetting he can fly.
I can fly. Yes, Nappa, very good. Uh, he can fly, but maybe that will be her thing. She'll touch him, make him float, and when he tries to fly, he flies so uncontrollably. He acts like Team Rocket and just goes out of the ring that way. Oh, but we just don't know. And that's the cool thing. Is like I love a series that is able to throw curveballs at me. It's one of the reasons why I know this is going to make you groan, Sky, that I enjoyed reading Game of Thrones, those first few books. Simply because I just did not know what was going to be thrown at me. It's like any character could die. But then at that point, at a certain point, it just became like, okay, this is getting tedious with you just going on and on and on and on. And it feels like you're just spinning your wheels. But this
Didn't
is
like that, you've lost.
but this is very much in that same respect where it feels very much like you don't know what's going to happen. It's like for all you know, this thing could happen, or it's like this character could lose that you weren't expecting to lose. It's like, a good example would be it's like if Bakugo loses like one of the next rounds, like loses the first round against Urahaka, that alone would be something that is wildly out of left field. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but I'm saying if that were to happen, that would be a crazy thing. And honestly, I could see this series doing that. And I'm really excited to see what the hell is going to happen, because I legitimately don't know. And that is so rare to see from a shonen anime. Because so many of them follow that same formula pattern. And this one doesn't, and I'm really enjoying it.
Yeah, me too.
Sorry.
Honor!
That is going to be pretty much Sky's contribution to the talks for a while, because you guys can hear I'm excited, I'm happy.
I can't say much without spoiling.
And that's really been your biggest problem when it comes to watching this series with us, is the fact that there's so much about it that you would want to talk about, but you've watched all of this season, and
I've watched through season 3 in the first movie.
Yeah, so go ahead.
I was just it's the same way with me and Ruby. I know what's coming in Ruby, so I have to keep my mouth shut.
And once we do a future series, I'm not going to say what, because that's a far off and away, but there's a future series that me and Sky know very well that Kitty is going to be new to, that we're going to have her watch when we do stuff like this. And I'm going to have to remember to keep my mouth shut for stuff like that.
Well, let's all keep our mouth shut and move on to the next episode.
But we can't yet, because we haven't talked about the end of the episode.
Yeah, we did. Prof mentioned the whole thing about, Deku trying to run at the guy and then going frozen.
Yeah.
But you see, I didn't hear that because I lack honor!
It's really interesting, though. I'm really curious to see just how things are going to play out from here. But not sure if there's anything else we need to cover. What do you guys think?
No, I think we're ready.
Okay. Well, then, with that all said, we're going to go ahead and move on to the next episode. But until then, my friends, stay frosty.
Later.
See ya.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. It's your ever-friendly Pokeprof, and I wanted to thank you for watching yet another episode of Getting With The Program. If you got any suggestions on how to make the show better, or you're just wanting to say hi, leave a comment below. If you also like and subscribe, that will definitely help us out on the channel. Also, be sure to check out the upcoming episode of Fascinating Fiction, a solo series in which I'm wanting to do a little bit more scripted content. You can also follow both me and Kitty, and I believe also Sky as well, on social media, mostly Twitter, and as well as when we stream on Sundays, Tuesdays, and Thursdays over on Twitch, where we mostly just play games that I've never played before and goof around. Hope to see you guys there, but until then, stay frosty.